and welcome to another episode of Social Strategies Simplified with Sue, where we break down the social media strategies of top producing industry professionals who are doing amazing things in getting reach and ROI on their social media content development efforts while actually creating much less than you might think. If you are not in the industry of the person being represented each week, that is okay, because these strategies and best practices can be applied to any business. So stick around even if you are not a financial analyst like this week's victim, Chris Browning of Popcorn Finance. So if you're here with me live, please give me a hashtag live in the comments. If you check in on the replay, give me a hashtag replay. And if you would like to be notified as I go live, put a hashtag me and I will give you drop you a mention in the comments. But better yet, I have all of my episodes now live on socialmediavault.com. So if you would like to take a look at past episodes and keep seeing what might be coming in case you miss, go head on over to socialmediavault.com and you can just sign up for free. I'll drop the link in the comments so you can go there as well. But let's dive in. So today, we're going to take a look at Chris's Instagram channel, but I always like to do a little recap. Also, not just in case you missed something in the prior days, but I want you to see how this evolves day by day in demonstration of the hub and spoke content framework model. Now, that hub may apply to your channel focus as well as a piece of content or content type that is your key focus, that then you use to continue to distribute across the digital landscape. And this is how people have the ability to seemingly be everywhere with fresh content. So Chris, as we started off on his website, popcornfinance.com, great concept. What he does is distill very complex topics that are of great importance into clips that are done in less time than it takes to pop a bowl of popcorn. So he does this, he introduces it with this great video feature, but then as we noted on day one, his focus is really on these podcasts. So down here he has Instagram, which is what we're going to take a look at today. But if you go to his homepage, like we noted the first time, his first menu item is listen, takes you to his podcast. So we know that's his hub, right? So we see that over here on Spotify, over here on Google, he's got it on Stitcher, etc. So he does the thing that smart podcasters do, which is creating great content and then making sure that the website features where to go. People know that they can find him on their podcast channel of choice. It goes across the podcast landscape. And then the masterful piece that he does is the reuse and repurpose of that content so that he can easily get his message out to a variety of social media channels. So yesterday then, we demonstrated how he takes this onto YouTube in two different ways that are really quite brilliant if you have extraordinary audio that you're creating to establish your expertise and be the go-to expert for your people who are seeking the guidance that you deliver. And the first one that we looked at was how he takes his podcast, and we're just clicking here real quick, is that as you can see, you click through, and this is simply a visual applied to an audio file that allows him to get visibility, plant some seeds of search engine optimization, and present his expertise to a YouTube audience who is very likely searching for the things that he is delivering. Now, that's one model, and then the other one that we reviewed was how he then also goes live, creates a video from this, and that one, of course, also comes and gets placed on YouTube. So he has this Popcorn Finance podcast, and he also has this This Is Awkward podcast. Now, before anyone who might be tuning in new thinks, oh my God, 2 podcasts, that's crazy. I don't even have the time or the ability to do one. We get overwhelmed right away quite often when we think about podcasting, multiple things, putting content somewhere else that then requires a visual media overlay or update. But this is where the structure and the process is intended to actually simplify. So once you get really good at that one thing, like his first podcast, everything's already set up for him to do another. And you know what makes that really easy? Things like tools like canva.com, where you can set up templates for your visual graphics that allow you to switch back and forth very easily. Like, for example, I'll just go off a little bit here. Boom! What just happened? So that's a different branding and a different style that I already have set up in this tool, that if I wanted to go from one show to another, I could easily do that. And once it's all set up, it's easy for anybody to replicate and create a system that allows them to do just this model, creating one focused piece of content that you then repurpose. So this is a great demonstration on Chris's YouTube channel of doing both things, creating a live interview that creates a podcast and another audio podcast that he overlays easily with a graphic that then can also live on YouTube. Then we see now in the other spoke that we're focusing on today, which is Instagram, how he easily takes that over to his Instagram account. So if we scroll down, we can see right here this first post, just what we just looked at over on YouTube, right? That first video that we reviewed yesterday, right here. Now what we note is, yes, the thumbnails, the graphics are a different size. Now again, people often say, well, I create this and then I have to do the graphic again in all these different sizes. That again is the magic of tools like Canva. In Canva for Work, once you've created something, you can actually export it into another size, just what you need for Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and then of course you're going to manipulate it a bit, but it creates the right size so you can move things around and update things very quickly to then get an Instagram post from the podcast that you had turned into a YouTube video with a beautiful graphic, right? So you see the process, and once the system is in place, it's easy to reuse, repurpose, and continue the process with new content. So here's also a great example of this as well. All right, so if we come over to his podcast, we see podcast 230, Finding a Job During the Pandemic, an extraordinarily important topic. So then we can also see over here, he has that on his YouTube channel as well, following his system and his process and his framework. Then we come over and we see the same thing over on Instagram. So it's not a set it and forget it scheduling, right? It is crafted specifically to the channel, but with ease. So here we see one. He's got that nicely branded image that he uses on Instagram that's similar to what's on YouTube, but sized accordingly. And he has this message where he tags who was in the interview with him. He writes specifically what this content was about, uses just a few hashtags. See, we don't have to have hashtag desperation, but that's a topic for another day. And he's gotten 340 views on this, and it gives some great advice. And then in his link in bio on Instagram, drives people back to where they can consume the rest of the content on his podcast or on his YouTube channel. So giving people the opportunity to find him on the channel that they most resonate with. Now, gotta come over here as my other screen's up. I'm still here. So we can see now, hey, look, episode 230, Finding a Job During the Pandemic. Look, episode 230, Finding a Job During the Pandemic. It's repeated, yes, but with different messages, right? So this one focuses on paychecks. This one focuses on job opportunities. This one talks about, oh, that's a different one, different podcast. But you can see what I mean by reuse and repurpose. And the great thing is here, you guys, these podcasts, like he says, he goes on for only as long as it takes to pop a bag of popcorn, which means most of these podcasts are about 12 minutes or less. So it's a short podcast from which, however, he can distill a variety of topics that have given him several Instagram posts, right? So in one podcast, for 12 minutes, he talked about things, paychecks, job opportunities, resume writing. So you can see how you can really simplify your life by focusing on something that's really important to your audience. And then if you say, okay, I'm ready to move this over to another channel, I'm ready to build my visibility on another social media channel. Once you've gotten really good at that first thing, create that first thing. Once you're good at it and comfortable with it and that system is working for you, okay, now we can start to focus on taking that over to Instagram. One piece of 12-minute content has given him here 3 Instagram posts, and there may even be more. And then we can also think about how we move that content into Instagram stories with a simple tap of a share. So this, I hope, gives you all some other ideas around how you can focus on your genius, create great content that's really important, even in short amounts of time, and reuse and repurpose things so that people really see the message and the learning behind it, right? You might say that's a lot of use of a small piece of content. Well, he's talking about complex issues. He has a lot of topics that may fall within that 12-minute, 15-minute podcast, and he can break it down and focus on what's important to different people that meet him in the news feed at different points in time. And also keep in mind that it takes repetition to get your message, to get your expertise, and to get learnings into someone's mind. And every time we see something, we look at it with a different eye, and we might learn more if they see it again. So don't worry about the repetition. That's exactly what your audience needs to gain the insights that you're there to offer them. So demonstration of a great model. I was really excited when I came onto his Instagram account and saw how he was doing exactly that. And this is exactly something that you too can do when you create a plan, a strategy, and zone in on the specific things that you want to create and how you want to distribute that across the social media landscape. So if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments. If you've learned anything or if this has given you any new ideas or aha moments about what you too can accomplish, please let me also know in the comments. And hop on over at socialmediavault.com and sign up, where you can dive in and see lawyers and lenders and realtors and all kinds of people implementing this model in different ways. So hopefully you see a model that resonates with you, and I would love to help you implement it. So I look forward to seeing you back tomorrow and helping you simplify your